Welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you've been doing the exact same core routine for years and you've got absolutely zero visible results to show for it, well, you're in the right place. Today, we're figuring out why you're putting in all that work and just getting nowhere. Seriously, think about your typical core workout for a second. You're sweating, you're burning, you're knocking out literally hundreds of sit-ups or crunches until your stomach is completely on fire. But then you stand up, look in the mirror, and nothing. There's absolutely nothing there. It's so frustrating, right? The effort is there, the burn is definitely there, but the gains? Totally imaginary.
Well, here is the kicker. The reason you aren't seeing results is because 90% of those viral ab exercises you see online are a complete illusion. Honestly, they're either a massive waste of your time, or worse, they're literally wrecking your spine. You definitely don't need to be doing 500 crunches every morning. You just need the right exercises.
So let's talk about the biggest paradigm shift you need to make today. Most people totally fail to understand the difference between training your core for endurance, like trying to survive a brutal 9-hour plank, versus training for actual muscle hypertrophy. And by hypertrophy, I just mean thick, visible muscle growth.
Think about it like this. If your workout requires a lunch break halfway through just because you can hold an exercise forever, you are absolutely failing to build muscle. I mean, the world record for a plank is over 9 hours. If you can hold a position indefinitely, you're building endurance. You are not building those thick, blocky muscle fibers that actually push through the skin to give you visible abs.
Section 1. The worst exercises, draining your time.
Let's expose exactly where things go wrong, starting right at the bottom with the F tier. Mountain climbers, they're basically just momentum-based floor flailing, and your lower back usually just collapses. Then there's dumbbell side bends. Holding a weight in each hand practically cancels out gravity itself, which makes it totally useless for your obliques. Moving up slightly to the D tier, we have bicycle crunches. That's just chaotic cardio where 99% of people just yank on their necks. Plus, you can't even add weight to it. And then in C tier, we've got things like planks and Russian twists. Look, they're fine for a controlled burn or core endurance, but for actual hypertrophy, zero.
Now, let's zoom in on the most famous offender of them all, the basic crunch. It is famously terrible. It gives you a range of motion roughly the size of a postage stamp. There is zero stretch on the abdominal muscles, and we know you absolutely need stretch for muscle growth. Ultimately, it mostly just gives you neck pain and the illusion of effort. You might feel like you're working hard, but mechanistically speaking, your abs aren't experiencing the stress they actually need to grow.
Oh, and moves like the dead bug? Look, they might be perfectly fine for physical therapy, rehab, or just learning basic spinal coordination. But if your goal is visible muscle, come on. They offer zero overload, zero stretch, and zero hypertrophy. You're just not going to build a superhero physique doing dead bugs.
Section 2. The elite ab builders, mechanics of growth.
Okay, so what does actually build those thick blocks? Well, here is your new arsenal. These S-tier and A-tier exercises actually work because they force the core to experience deep stretches and pull against heavy resistance. We are talking about the absolute heavy hitters here. Cable crunches, hanging leg raises, and dragon flags in the S-tier. Plus the ab wheel and decline sit-ups right behind them in the A-tier. These are the moves that scale. These are the moves that force actual adaptation.
But here's the crucial part. You have to understand the mechanics behind how these exercises work. It's all about something called the spinal curl. Let's take the hanging leg raise, for example. 99% of people out there absolutely butcher this. They turn it into this wild pendulum swing, letting their hip flexors do all the heavy lifting while their abs practically go on vacation. But the real magic? That happens when you execute a full spinal curl at the very top of the movement. Just that little roll of the spine is where the abdominal muscles actually shorten hard, and that is what triggers growth.
Let's actually compare that D-tier basic crunch to the S-tier cable crunch for a second. Unlike a basic floor crunch, the cable crunch gives you full extension at the top and lets you just crush the contraction at the bottom. But here is the real game changer. It allows you to progressively add weight. You can load this movement exactly like you would a bench press or a bicep curl. Honestly, if you aren't doing cable crunches, you are basically choosing to have flat abs.
And then there's the dragon flag, Bruce Lee's signature move. Even after 50 years, it is still one of the absolute hardest and most effective core movements on the planet. It is a brutal, full-body control test. Your lats, your glutes, your legs, everything fires together until literally even your soul starts contracting. Unlike a basic plank, it heavily overloads the abs, forcing the exact kind of tension that builds thick, visible muscle.
Now, hold on. Before you frantically write all these down and rush to the gym for a crazy 2-hour marathon, just pause. Remember, your abs are muscles. They are not Pokemon cards. You really don't need to catch them all and cram every single elite exercise into one chaotic workout just to see results.
Section 3. The perfect ab routine. Simple and effective.
So, if you want maximum results, here is the exact minimalist blueprint you need, and you only have to do this 2 to 3 times a week. That's it. Step 1. Pick just one heavy hypertrophy builder, something like the cable crunch, and do 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Step 2, follow that up with a lower ab move, maybe hanging leg raises, again for 3 sets of 10 to 15. And step 3, finish it all off with a stability exercise, like the dragon flag or a hollow body hold, and just take it to absolute failure. Run through that a few times a week, and you are totally set.
But, and this is a big but, you have to scale your progress appropriately. You really can't just jump straight into S-tier moves if the baseline strength isn't there yet. Take leg raises, for example. Start them flat on the floor. Once that gets too easy, move over to an incline bench. From there, progress to hanging knee raises, and then finally, master the full hanging leg raises. And the final boss? Throw on some ankle weights. That guarantees constant progressive overload.
Look, the key to this whole minimalist system is so simple. Just stop overcomplicating it. Stop chasing that temporary burn from random viral workout videos and start treating your core like you would any other muscle building endeavor. It's all about progressive overload, getting a proper stretch and contraction, and just staying consistent.
Section 4. The hard truth. The body fat reality. Now, we have to talk about the harsh reality. The stuff nobody really likes to mention when it comes to finally seeing the results of all this hard work. Training? It's literally only half the equation. Building those thick abs through hypertrophy is exactly 50% of the battle. The other 50%? That's getting your body fat percentage low enough to actually reveal the muscle you've just painstakingly built. You really need the full package here.
Here's the funny, albeit slightly painful truth. If you're sitting around 20% body fat, those incredibly strong, thick abs you've built, they aren't going anywhere. They're just trapped right beneath last night's snacks. It's a tough pill to swallow, but you simply cannot out-train a diet that keeps a layer of fat over your midsection.
So it really all comes down to this. Are you going to keep performing the mere illusion of a workout, just flailing on the floor doing mountain climbers, or are you finally going to apply progressive overload, build the actual muscle, and dial in your nutrition to uncover the truth? The entire blueprint is right in front of you. So what's your next move going to be?